Ciao, ciao, buongiorno tutti. Incominciamo con lo show. No, we're gonna do these videos in English, don't worry. I'm Alicia, I'm one half of your delicious hostess here at Den Fatales. And this video is gonna be basically a commentary a bit on the first video say that we made, fatphobia or racism. Which one is worse in Italy? If you have an opinion on that, please do let me know in the comments, because I am really happy to see that a lot of people living in Italy and from Italy have seen this video and have given us their feedback, but we'll get there in a second. I think the first part that felt relevant is actually the stuff that I started to find when I was doing research for this video. First of all, as you've heard in the video itself, this video, the fatphobia versus racism video, exists because of Teen Noir. However, I did wrong, like it wasn't actually the skinny propaganda. I ended up on the skinny propaganda, but the actual video in question was the token fat friend that she did like a year or so ago. And that was the reason why it made me realize, oh, Italy needs to be told off about what's happening there. Because T expressed, in that video how sort of sad and heartbroken and sort of angry she was that the writer that she talks about was just simply happy that a character that is fat fundamentally, that she wrote and she plays and she acts in this TV show that she mentions, was simply happy for the representation.
This interview breaks my fucking heart. That part about her being visible.
And I wasn't, the moment that T went sort of angry or broken at that, I was like, oh no, I'm on the side of the writer. I'm just so happy about the representation. And then something clicked and I was like, oh, that's not enough, is it? So that sort of started, put things in motion. We sort of had ideas of making video essays. We were thinking about sort of bridging things from Hit in the UK, which used to be our previous channel. If you are from there, hello, hi gingerlings. But yeah, I realized that I started to do research. And the sad thing is that all of my experiences, as much as they have happened 15, 20 years ago in Italy, that's still the same. Like I genuinely hope that things have changed, as they haven't. And something that popped for me was I started to follow a few pages of just general culture that are Italian pages. And a couple of articles in the last month or so were posted. So the first one that I want to tell you about is this one about a vegan Scottish girl, vomiting and in tears after McDonald's serves her a chicken burger. It's a link to the Scottish Sun, and that's the issue. And this is the picture of the girl, I think, with her partner, and the sandwich of discord. And it's, it's actually problematic because, fair enough, it's an anti-vegan page, but that's another thing. It's the kind of stuff that I expected Italians to be openly opinionated, and they didn't disappoint. Because this is, we have to go through this. I'm sorry, we have to go through this. This is the level of comments that she got. I used the automatic translation of Facebook, so forgive me for that, but at least you can get an idea. So the first one was, oh, she's clearly 280 kilos, or she became vegan last week. So the first, again, I appreciate that maybe the topic of this article was food. So you would think, oh, all these people, they want to just focus on her looks and basically insulting her because she looks fatter than a size 6, which is the hailed one in Italy. And it just goes on. And then never seen a vegan that weighs 100 kilos, a quintal. And it goes on, oh, she must just eat pasta, but fries are vegan and even dark chocolate. I'm sure it's just big boned. And if you notice with these comments, everybody just reacts. There is nobody saying anything against it. As you can tell, actually, this last comment is mine. And I think the problem with that is that they thought that I was joking. Like, I literally wrote, oh, I came here for the fatphobic comments, as average Italians didn't disappoint. And I think they genuinely believed that the point was, oh, I wanted to see someone making fun of her. Oh yeah, this one, oh, vegans, these two fatzos over there, go and have a run. This is something that really impressed me. This is another comment that I left there because I was involved in it. I was so shocked about the natural way in which everybody, men and women, were just making a point of her being fat. And so my point, as you can tell, was why even in a vegan context is the first insult you get on the assumed weight of her. Can you even realize that in Italy we are not okay if fatty is the standard insult to a woman under 50, over and over again. And the only comment that all the people went to like, notice because they laughed at mine, but they all went to like that, it was this guy saying, oh, now say it without crying. I don't understand how, but everybody sort of retracts to 5-year-oldism, like stuff of kindergarten, and everybody agrees with that in Italy when the topic is fat. I'm not sure why. The other article was this one about a polyamory triple, quadruple, here in the UK as well. Like, I think it's emblematic that all these articles are from the UK, and anywhere they are here in the UK on any kind of website or newspaper, they are just taking, like, this would be an article on polyamory, the one before would be an article about veganism. In Italy, they all just become a commentary on the fatness of the woman that you can see. So for this one, again, she married, she has one boyfriend, one husband and 2 lovers, and they're all happy together, which, you know, in this day and age, it's good to have a good representation of polyamory. Did Italy think that that was relevant? No. Well, if it's the one in the picture, the girl in the picture, I leave it to the other 3 every night. So she's ugly. When he was a teenager, he had 4 more, but this is auto-translate going wrong, because Italian doesn't have subjects and it's all about the tense. It automatically translates to masculine because patriarchy, but actually it means this comment is about her. So when she was a teenager, she had 4 more, but she hated them. All of her boyfriend and lovers must be radiologists because she must have just beauty inside, because of course she's not beautiful, she's fat. I'm sure they don't have enough dioptries, they can't see to understand how bad it is. Maybe this is a girl, maybe I need to get fat again and grow a mustache. So more insults for her. I hope it's only the one in the picture, otherwise Fantozzi's daughter can be a model. Now Fantozzi is a character from Italy from the 70s, and films went throughout the 90s, throughout the 90s. Fantozzi's daughter is it's a very Italian joke. It's supposed to be the most ugly person. She's always called a monkey or something like that. It's actually played by a man. So that's the kind of insult that it is. She just needs a diet. I would like to understand where she found 4 interesting men. They all need eye visits because, of course, they're blind if they like her. Oh, does she have all 4 in her body like Majin Buu? Because, of course, she's fat. Oh my God, they're so original Italians, aren't they? So this is the kind, again, it doesn't matter the topic. That is always the case. If it happens to be a slightly overweight woman, that is a critique. Like, the topic itself doesn't matter anymore. The comment is just on the fatness. Now, if you have watched the video, you know that I digged a bit into Italian history to understand exactly when the switch happened. And I got a book that was actually really interesting, and I'm glad it exists, which is this one by Stephen Gundel, Bellissima. And one thing that surprised me of this book was that he genuinely tried to make a point that the usual standard of Italian beauty, it's dark and curvy. And I was like, man, I swear to you, I don't know what your idea of curvy is, but they really hate it in Italy. And so it was interesting to go through the history because he covers it really well, and he goes to talk about La Bella Rosina, the lover of the first king of Italy. So accidentally, while I was looking for information about her, beside what I found in the book, I found this. So it's unpublished pictures from history. It's on an Italian page of historic pictures. And as soon as you see, like, this is the standard picture that I've shown in the video as well. The title of the post is "How much have beauty canons changed in a in a century and a half?" Sorry, that was auto-translate again. So the first point is, yet again, that she's not beautiful. And the main reason why, of course, it's because she's stocky, because she is fatter than we expect. They talk about the history, they talk about the fact that she was the lover of Victor Emmanuel II, but the point of posting this picture is how much have beauty standards changed, which is true. And then there are the comments. The first comment, all likes, very ugly. I think the original in Italian was something like bruttissima, like you don't get uglier than that. And yet they were all surprised that she wasn't beautiful to be the lover of someone with power and being the king. And then they tried to point it out, oh, he wasn't that beautiful himself, was it? They just, no, she cannot, how can she have been the lover because she is so very ugly? That's just, again, that's just, I wasn't joking in the video. It's not just the personal reaction that I have because I've been treating myself like that by Italy. I know that that's the standard. I know it's the standard I've always seen in others. I know that at times, especially when I was still living there, it was my standard to hear it, take it, make a joke about it so they could make a joke about myself first. It's the kind of story, like I know that that's the norm in Italy, but I think just saying it or just telling you here and there my stories maybe didn't deliver. So these are all recent things, like within the last year, and this is how Italians talk about stockier women. Now, going on to the comments that we received directly, the feedback, if not comments, that we got on the video. It's mostly good stuff, but the thing that impressed me the most was the first comment that we received, which I think either was deleted by the author or it was a matter of YouTube deciding that it wasn't appropriate, so it deleted them. So after that, I actually changed the setting of the channel so that now we manually approve every comment, because I don't want a comment like that to go lost again. And this was the comment, the very first comment that the video got. And by the way, the person who posted subscribed to the channel, is still subscribed to the channel. So if you're there, you're famous now. The comment goes as, "You're fat. Get over it. If you don't like being fat, get to the gym and shut your pie hole. Fat is repulsive. It's hardwired in humans to find fat repulsive because it's dangerous and unhealthy. By the way, it would be nice if Eurovision actually gave awards for the best song." You can imagine, and I'm not joking, like I'm not trying to, what in Italy they would say, fare buon viso cattivo gioco, so take something, do good face in the face of something that isn't good. No. This is amazing, because I wish I could have had this comment on the video and pin it, because this being the first comment just goes to show and demonstrate exactly why we needed to make this video. It also goes to show that a lot of people leave comments before getting to the information of the video, because if She Loves G had taken a look, not even at the video, just at the sources. No, fat is not repulsive, and it's not hardwired in humans to find fat repulsive because it's dangerous and unhealthy. That has happened in the last 150, 200 years because of religious asceticism deciding that white people needed to be slender, and much even slender than the European ones. This is the crazy stuff that happens in American Protestantism, evangelical and stuff like that. So it's not that I just say things. By the way, if you know me from before, you know that I don't just say things. I need to always make sure and double check and triple check. Like something that I very look up to Khadija too is that she has a fact checker. Well, in this, it's all me and Raven. All the stuff that we put together, and even stuff that we heard about and put together, then I don't put out the video if I don't find the source again. Like I will modify the script because I can't just say things. So the fact that I actually go into detail in 80 minutes in explaining how, no, historically actually fat was a positive trait. And this person couldn't even bother checking that, like the satisfaction of going after a fatty was too much to just leave. And again, I'm grateful because more than anything that I could have said in the video, any proof, any screenshot that I could bring, having this as the first comment, again, it's the demonstration that this video needed to be done. So thank you so much, She Loves G. I cannot wait to see the other trolling that you come up with in the next few videos. Apart from that, let it never be said that actually I just remember the bad comments. Much as it's significant for the topic at hand, let me actually go through a couple of the comments that we got on fatphobia and racism. Spiders really gave me joy with this comment because very interesting and well researched. And as you might have got an idea by now, I am a sucker for research. Like, I love to put together things and know where the receipts come from. The one point though that is worth mentioning, and Khadija mentions it as well, the colorism of YouTube can be so severe. I don't remember a time on YouTube where in the comments I wasn't asked, oh, interesting accent, where are you actually from? That's probably because of this, we feel more compelled to have even more receipts, even more research. See, it's not what I say, it's what established cultures say, which sort of, it's a bad feedback with the fact that, why should I trust you? And colorism and why should I trust you go hand in hand. Khadija mentions how people sometimes are surprised of how high her language use is, and somehow they wouldn't expect that from a black person, and that's really tough. So that's sort of the, I guess because of my accent and because I will never have an English accent, I guess that's partially what happens with me. I'm not sure. I know that before I was talking about science, now I'm talking about culture or identity, and it's still always something that I bring receipts to. And I wish I could do, and I could be more like T at times, where in the skinny propaganda video, for example, she goes and talk about, oh, I can tell you about skinny shaming, and I don't need anyone, any source for that. I have personal experience. And the fact that she could trust that, despite how people would go like, where are your receipts, girl? My receipts is me, and I would like to be able to do that. It's a big there and back again for me, because at the very beginning on the nutrition channel, I used to talk about my experience. I test this, I do this happens. As you've seen with the comments that I used to receive, that I posted in the original fatphobia video, people didn't trust me because I was fat. So what does a fat woman know? What does a woman know was also on the same level. So I guess even if I hadn't been fat or mixed race, they would have questioned, what does a woman know about science? But despite this, every time then, even in things that I tested myself, I had to go back and find research that would back up the result that I already found, because people just wouldn't trust a fat mixed race woman talking about stuff. So it's a bit, I'd like to be able to try and go back to, hey, this is my experience, so it's real. It's hard not to feel real if you don't fit into the infamous standard that people would like to think then you are trustworthy. It's the infamous thing about there is so much more expected out of a woman talking about these things because of the infamous we have to put an extra layer on women. If you don't deliver in image, if you don't deliver in tone, if you don't deliver on all those external things that should keep you working, then I don't trust that you can deliver work-wise, even though it's exactly the kind of game that has been made to never make women able to be on the same level and being just able to dedicate as much time to the professional stuff if you don't take me seriously if I don't put on makeup. See my point? Spot has a very interesting point as well about, similar issues, different degrees go on in other countries, and we all hope for a better future. And that is absolutely true. I think it's one of the things that I've been told the most. Like, I think it was rightfully people wanting to participate in saying, oh, it's bad here as well, it's bad there as well. And if by any chance in the video I made it sound like or only Italy has this problem, or Italy has it so bad that anywhere else it doesn't count, that is absolutely not the case, and I apologize for that. It's not like I guess in the UK it's not necessarily as bad, so it weighs less on my shoulders. But most of the body positive groups that I'm in are UK and Americans, and if there is a body positive movement, is exactly because the oppression is still there. It's amazing that I can go to Primark in the UK and find up to a size, I think 24, 26. It's amazing. Of course, that wouldn't happen in Italy. So at the very least, on an institutional level, it's less bad in here. But that's still an issue. Like, I still hear, and that drives me insane, that it could happen exactly the same. Girls waiting at the bus stop, having guys go by, shout at them, and throwing them food and drinks and beverages. Like, everywhere in the world is the same. I don't understand why we can be even racist or sorry when really shitheads are the same everywhere. Like, in this sense, I felt like bringing Italy as the extreme example, because I want to believe that if the perception of what happens in Italy, and it's very sort of an inside job, because it's not the kind of stuff, as I mentioned in the video, that is exported out of Italy, that could spark a reaction, and maybe maybe very bravely, I am trying to go against an entire country. We have 78 subscribers and I want to take down an entire country. But it's in the same level in which what happened last year with Black Lives Matter. Like, Black Lives Matter has existed for almost a decade. What happened last year with George Floyd's murder by the police sparked activity and movement everywhere. The protests that were in support of Black Lives Matter here in the UK went to topple down slavery statues in Bristol, and that is the kind of domino effect that I hope to see in the world, and that I hope that the videos that we make here can contribute to, can be part of that spark that topples down the patriarchy, the white supremacy, the billionaires. It's not a mystery that we are a bit of a lefty here, and what decent person wouldn't be? Laurie is a great comment personally to me, because Laurie made the effort to come from our previous channel, which I know is nothing like this, apart from the background right now, but we'll improve. Give us time, girl. So it was, I know Laurie, I've known Laurie for a long time, and hearing that, oh my God, I identified so much with this, and I was like, girl, I hear you, I know. And I think that's also part of why when the idea started to come last year of we need to talk about the stuff that matters and that we care about. Not that health doesn't, absolutely it does. But what I didn't realize at the time, and then it came out last year when I started to use our platform beside nutrition to reach people. And so, like, we did a show in support of Black Lives Matter and Mermaids for trans youth. And that revealed the intentions and the nature of a lot of people following us. That was problematic, to say the least. And I started to suspect that because it was about alternative nutrition, although not unscientific, alternative from the standard, it had the tendency to attract people that would like to go against the status quo. But in the way that Trumpians do it, which I don't quite understand, because how are you going against the status quo when your man is president? Like, you see what I mean? So all the QAnoners, all the anti-vaxxers, all the Trumpers, all the All Lives Matter, all these people, the moment that I started to post in support of these rightful causes, started with the shut up and cook. And I was like, we need to clean this up. And I've had discussions with other people that were in our niche at the time, and they were like, oh yeah, it's bad, but what can you do? Like, we're here to cook and make money out of that. And I was like, I know that I should. But there is something bigger. Call me crazy. I know it's very complicated to come to terms with the fact that that is my job, but I don't want to make money out of the fact that people would think that I'm okay with them supporting Trump. Like, there is a limit, and that was the line for me. If you come to my channels and say All Lives Matter, or okay, you talk about LGBTQ, you need to go, Karen. You need to go last night. Actually, Karen is a bit of a misogynist way to say that. I'll stop that. Apologies. But all the Trumpians, all the Ivankas, they needed to go. Rosie Elio, I think, came from the old channel as well. I'm with you, 50 years old, and the scale still tells me how I should feel about myself. It's hard to change that which was ingrained from youth, and it's a struggle every day. I wonder if I should have talked more about that. I am still in therapy for that. It's not something... I watched the video myself thinking these are the right things that should be said. Do not think for 1 second that 24/7 I am in that mindset. I wish I were, but most of the time I'm crumbling and insecure myself, thinking if I lose 1 more kilo, will the world accept me a little bit more? And at the very least, reading all the feminist literature on the ways that fat and feminism are united really give me a reason to think that it's completely fine if I occupy a little bit more space. I think after actually, after doing the research and reading the books, I actually got, it's the first time in 38 years that I got out with shorts without thighs. Tights? Thighs. Thighs are my legs. Tights are what covers my legs. And I don't... If you're a fat girl there, or a fat boy, and know, or a fat non-binary, and know the feeling of having your thighs just all, you know, fatty and knotty, exposed with all the skin changes and skin texture that it's... skin texture exists? No! Instagram tells you that it doesn't. It does. And I just went out with shorts. Fair enough, then the shorts actually started to rise up because, again, never experienced that, so I didn't know that shorts would rise up as well. Another story for another time. But I did it. And I did it in the sense of, I know that all the cellulite and all the knots in my thighs are probably offending your eyes. But really, in this world, if you find that offending, your problem. Peg, I really appreciate it. Interesting, good luck with the new channel. We hope to do our best. Now, the last thing that I would like to quickly give credit to are 2 incredibly insightful feedbacks and critiques that we got on the video on the Discord of Natalie Wing ContraPoints. So if anyone from the Discord is watching, hi. Writing Women, if you're watching, you're amazing, I love you. I'll leave the link in the video description. It's another channel of video essays that I found through the ContraPoints Discord, and they're doing really, really interesting stuff. The video that they did about representation of different genders and sexuality in anime, perfection. So, right, one of the first the first critique was by Writing Women, Nico Mikiri. I should be in bed, but I couldn't help watching the first few minutes of this, and holy wow with that intro. It was so eye-catching and set the mood really well. I cannot take credit for that, Raven had the vision for that. It was so eye-catching and set to the mood really well. Love the musical choices too. Again, Raven entirely there. I downloaded something like 200 tracks from Epidemic, and then Raven went directly, boom, it's this repeated. I was like, cool. Subscribe from my Writing Women channel so I can see whatever else you decide to post, even if I don't log on here for a while. I'm gonna finish this one in the morning while I'm doing my physical therapy. It is 80 minutes. I appreciate that it takes a moment. I know that I am partial in saying that it's interesting to watch, and if you're not watching, again, the receipts. The other one that I got was insane. I actually don't remember who left it, and for privacy, I actually deleted the name. But if you see this, I can't tell you in words how much this critique meant to us. It's so in depth and in detail, like clearly you took the time and you cared, and I can't imagine anything else being as worth as somebody that I don't know in another part of the world understood what we meant and found it valuable. That is the currency that I would like to see in the world. Holy, this was really good. Other people have said it already, but the intro works extremely well. I was planning on watching this little by little, but you really sucked me in, and I watched almost the entire video in one sitting. Yes, it's long, but I don't think there was a minute wasted. It didn't feel like it was dragging or you were repeating yourself. The 80 minutes are absolutely justified for the amount of ground you covered. Thank you. It's one of the main things that I was scared about. I was like, it's a lot of, and it's already cut, of course. Like, there is a lot of stuff from the Sabrina Strings book about fearing the black body that I wanted to go more in detail about. But I realized that, you know what, I like to give you receipts and names, but I appreciate that this is already long, so I sort of summed up the concepts, but I really wanted to make it even more. I learned a lot of new things, especially how fat phobia partly originated in racism. Again, Sabrina String, Fearing the Black Body, a book that changed my ideas and concepts completely. Again, whereas before I thought sort of both fatness and my mixed origins were my fault, seeing how they actually came together and clearly then the hatred that Italy had towards me was really the one and the same. It sort of turned on a light bulb and I was like, them all. And was constructed to uphold the othering narrative that was needed to justify the slave trade. The othering narrative. God, you're good with words. Super interesting stuff. I remember reading some Bourdieu text about the cultural shift that you talk about that led from fat being seen as good in the Renaissance to the modern association of laziness. And Bourdieu explained it on the axis of feudalism versus capitalism. But if I recall correctly, didn't mention race at all. Seems like a pretty big gap. Yeah, Sabrina String is the first book that actually unites the dots. Then once you unite them, they're very obvious. They're la palisse, as they would say in Italy. The part about Maria Callas was really sad. I didn't know about that at all. Actually, it occurred to me to insert that example at the very end. Like, we were already editing the script down to sort of prepare the images for it, and I realized that that's a good example. And then just by chance, while researching it in those last 10 minutes, I realized this is D'Annunzio's fault as well. That fucking pig! Aesthetically, your experience with video making shows, again, it's not mine, it's Raven's, I cannot... So Raven put the brains, the beauty, the aesthetic, I put in the research and the anger, to be honest with you. The video is pleasing to watch and to listen to, and I think that's a factor that can't be overstated. Again, my wife knows what's beautiful. I'm not saying that as a self-compliment, but... I see a lot of small breadtube adjacent creators who seem to think that it's enough for the content to be well-researched and well-argued, but I think aesthetics play a huge part in how well-received a video is. It's something that Natalie talks about a lot, ContraPoints, as well. I loved your outfits, especially the crop top Renaissance painting outfit. Actually, in light of these comments, I wanted to wear it for this video as well, and then I realized that I already did my makeup and it wouldn't have worked well, but I will again. Again, these videos are gonna be possibly once a week, and then once a month the biggest say will be out. So for the next 2 weeks still here in July, we will talk about different sides of what we put together in the fat phobia and racism video. I will do my best to actually wear the top again. I think it takes an enormous amount of bravery to talk about your personal experience and traumas, and you really added poignancy and emotional relevance to the whole essay, so thank you for your openness. See, that's something... I take the compliment, but I don't feel like I need the recognition. It's not recognition, I'm not brave. That stuff happened to me anyway. I don't know, I'm really naive in these kind of things. Like, I have been told very similar things in the past, and I'm always like, I don't get the bravery, like, that happened anyway. It's actually, as most of the stories that I put in the video, they didn't happen with my consent, but they happened. My bravery doesn't have anything to do with it. So yeah, I just see it that way. It could be my neurodivergence, but thank you for the compliment. Believe me, I have plenty of those stories more if you want. Again, it's not bravery, it's just, it happened already. So I don't have an issue with that anymore, if it makes sense. You know, you are a beautiful couple. I agree. I love the ending. In conclusion, I'm a fan. Please make more videos. Says, oh my god, if we are. As I mentioned on the Facebook page, there is sort of a sneak peek, at the very least, of the idea of the video essay that we will make in August, which will be about the unicorn, and Raven is working on it. So rightfully, as you saw us together in this video, but this was more about my personal experience and history. again, despite how well, I can't stress enough how well Raven put together the raw information that I just had and the anger that I had into something palatable for everyone. So I really feel like it was almost unbalanced, the fact that it was mainly my face and still is my face. So we are going to bring a balance to that, not only in August with the video that she will bring on, but I think one of the next videos coming will actually be a discussion between me and her, so that you can get more acquainted with the both, with all the halves of them fatales. As for the bibliography, I mentioned, basically in the video description, you have the short bibliography that is literally the books that I went to read to find more information. And then there is the extended one, which is receipts for every declaration and statement that we make, which you find on Patreon, but it's open to everyone. It's an open post. All the bibliographies will be posts on Patreon, because there's only like 5,000 characters on the YouTube descriptions, and that was more. That was much more, and I expect it to be so much more in the future as well. Right, I'm going to wrap this up. Let me quickly remind you that we have a PayPal for a one-off donation if you would like to support our work on this channel. We have a Patreon open for Them Fatales, which has no patrons at the moment. We're just piggybacking off of Kit in the UK, but rightfully, because we don't do things that often on Kit in the UK anymore. If you support us in this transitional period and you decide to go for Patreon for it, thank you. That being said, I think what's gonna happen is that next week there will be another discussion video. This one was more about the general commentary on this video. I think the next one is going to be about the media representation, the example that we brought in the video, and basically a discussion between me and Raven to try and understand the way that I look at things as a fat girl when I see fat representation, and what she thinks instead, and what she notices that I react to that I don't even remember myself. So wait for it. And then we're gonna dip a little more at the end of July in sort of the personal stories that I peppered around in the video, especially going a little bit more, which didn't have room and I didn't quite think about it, but Raven made me notice that's relevant, about my personal experiences when for a little amount of time I lost weight, and so how the world treated me differently and what my reaction to that was. Because a lot of the feminist bibliography that we used had a weird twist on, oh, maybe women are compulsive with food and all this kind of stuff because they're secretly afraid of not being fat. And I don't know, I can only speak for myself, of course. That was something that didn't quite sit well with me. And Raven made me notice, yes, it's because you weren't shy, you were angry. And I was like, anger I'll take. So we'll discuss all of these in the next videos. Again, I was Alicia, half of your hostesses. I will see you soon again. If you want to support us, you find all the links in the description below. If you have ideas of topics that you would like us to research and give attention, like we have ideas for the next 4 or 5 videos, but give me your ideas. Maybe it's something that hasn't occurred to me, but we need to smash the patriarchy with. So